we definitely have some stuff to catch up on. If you've never been here before, my name is Alyssa Orlando. Thank you for coming back to my channel. All 21 subscribers. Hey, what's up? I don't actually think I've lost any subscribers in the last 2 years, which is kind of crazy since I just watched my last video that I ever did. It was on January 16th, 2018. Today is February 2nd, 2020. So that means that I have not vlogged in over 2 years. I'm sorry for the delay, but I was really motivated today to restart my vlog after some great conversation with two of my dearest friends, Jessie Burdick and Bev Gentile, who are two lovely members of Precision Powerlifting Systems. And we had a conversation about how the media portrays women, and especially in the strength sports. If you go back to my first vlog, that is exactly what I was talking about. And that is the reason that I started this channel, and 3 videos in decided that it was too hard. This channel has been kind of popping up on my feed recently as like a, hey, you should get back into this sort of thing. So I'm at Target right now. I'm going to go in. I need to get some things. And then once I get home, I'm going to set up shop and we are going to chat because I need to get some stuff off my chest, and it's time. It's time. So welcome back to the vlog. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here, and let's go into Target. So we're back home from Target. I also went to Market Basket, which is a local grocery store. I had to get some steak, and I ran out of ketchup and olive oil and a few other staples, so needed to pick those up. Took Retta out. She's now watching me from the staircase, so she runs up here. Don't be alarmed, because she does that from time to time, especially when she thinks she's being ignored, which she most definitely is being ignored right now. So I mentioned that I had had some really great conversations with my friends, and they kind of sparked something back up in me that I wasn't sure that I really wanted to continue doing. When I started my YouTube channel in 2018, we were, our team was going through some adjustment periods. So right after my last vlog, we actually ended up moving gyms. We moved from a previous gym to our current home, RX Strength Training in Somerville, Massachusetts. So between moving gyms, moving programming, and when I was talking about cutting to the 72s in my last vlog, I actually just went and watched the 3 vlogs that I posted on this channel before I kind of let it die off. I listened back to some of that footage, and I honestly can't believe that I published that and that people agreed with me. And I need to explain myself. So I explained in that first vlog, if you want to go back and watch some great footage of me in 2018, I explained in that vlog that I previously was a 63 kilo athlete in the sport of powerlifting in the USAPL Federation. And then I moved to the 72 kilo weight class in 2016 was my first meet in the 72s. I did, and I say did, past tense, we'll get into this, but I did 4 meets at the 72s. So I did the 3 meets I had mentioned in that video, and then I did 1 more meet, the meet that I was talking about prepping for, in the 72 kilo weight class. When I started prepping for that meet, when I was on camera saying, you know, I'm X, usually around X body weight during off season, that was me being extremely unrealistic with myself. When I started that meet prep, I was about 78 kilos, and I had been eating healthy for a few weeks. When you're not taking care of your body retains a lot more water, especially if you're eating a lot more sodium, if you're drinking more, your body starts to retain that water, and it starts to retain body fat because you're feeding it more calories than you're burning. And in the sport of powerlifting, despite how strong we are, our workouts aren't that particularly intense. So when we're doing our, you know, our competition squat or our competition bench press, like there are days when I'm wearing my Fitbit and my heart rate doesn't get above 110. That's not uncommon for powerlifters, especially female powerlifters, and especially small female powerlifters. You know, I compete now in the 84 kilo weight class, which is one of the heavyweight weight classes. but I still would consider myself to be a small individual. You know, I'm 5'3", 5'2", and I am not that big for the 84s. So when I was talking to you all 2 years ago and I was explaining, you know, I will start to tighten up my nutrition, a little bit of weight will fall off, and then I'll diet back in. That was me going into powerlifting still with an extremely diet focused mindset. And I want to be completely realistic about that, because the person that I was 2 years ago is not the person that I am right now. When I looked at powerlifting, and I think I even mentioned this in this video, if I have a clip, I'll insert it here. But when I was talking about me approaching powerlifting and I was approaching my past self, I was talking about how athletes sometimes use powerlifting as a band-aid to cover up a band-aid that they ripped off either from bodybuilding or from previous other restrictive mindsets. And what I wasn't admitting to myself is that that is exactly what I was still doing. I was still using powerlifting to fit into a box. I was still using powerlifting to associate myself with a typical female body type. I was still using powerlifting to associate myself with a typical female outlook on what it means to look like a woman. And I associated myself so heavily with my weight class because I truly felt that I would not be accepted in the powerlifting world if I didn't fit into one of the middleweight classes. And looking back on that now, that could not have been farther from the truth. I know so many strong women at both ends of the spectrum. Women who are 47 and 52 athletes that are still rocking it on the platform. I know 84 and 84 plus women who are absolutely annihilating the sport with their strength. You know, some of the most famous individuals in the sport of powerlifting right now are in the heavyweight and super heavyweight classes. That is crazy to think that in just a few years, we have come so far as a sport. And I mentioned this in some of those videos that we were going to see a next evolution of female powerlifting. And we really have. The boundaries have been pushed. I talked about the qualifying total for the 72 kilo weight class at 2018 Raw Nationals, which was 345 kilos, which I was able to hit at that April meet. I did go on to compete at 2018 and 2019 Raw Nationals, and each year since then, the qualifying total has drastically gone up. I did move up a weight class, so I competed in April 2018 in the 72s. I had a really hard weight cut. My coach, who is still my coach, Kevin can attest to this. I did not do as well as I hoped. I definitely hit PRs, don't get me wrong. The strength that I had gained was still there, but I did not do as well as if I had just gone into that meet without cutting. That was my mistake. That was not something that he was going to be able to talk me out of. That was something that I associated myself so heavily with that I just needed to do for myself. So the qualifying total for Raw Nationals in 2018 was 345 kilos. I hit 357.5 in April 2018, which was a really big PR for me. It was about a 22.5 kilo meet PR total. And then I competed again in July, and I actually ended up competing in the class above 72, which is 84. I decided not to cut for that meet. I weighed in that day at 76.2, maybe. It's somewhere in between 76 and 77. I went to breakfast beforehand. I got to compete with two of my great teammates who are still my teammates, and we just had a crazy day. The craziest part of that day was that I hit another 22.5 kilo total PR. I hit 380 kilos on the platform that day at 76 kilos body weight. And the reason that I did so well on that day, I went 9 for 9. I hit all of my lifts. I PR'd every single lift. And the reason that I did so well is because I did not have a restriction on my nutritional intake. Now, don't get me wrong. I was still eating pretty healthy. I was still fueling my body. And something that I came to realize throughout the course of that meet prep was that I really needed to take a step back and eliminate diet culture from my mentality. And since then, I've been competing in the 84 kilo weight class for the last year and a half. And I think for the first time in my powerlifting career, and I said career jokingly in that first video, and now I really feel like it is because I've been competing in the sport for over 5 years. I'm now a state referee, and I've also started directing meets. So I'll be directing my first meet this March at my home gym, and hopefully we'll be able to direct more meets there in the future. And so I've really started giving back to the sport as well. So I do feel like, I would be considered one of those intermediate powerlifters who's a veteran of the federation, who really affiliates herself with that place and with this sport. So, I joked that I was like a career, but, for all intents and purposes, I do still work full-time in higher education. I'm also pursuing my PhD now. So I definitely have a lot of other things going on outside of the sport of powerlifting, but I have never been so passionate about anything. And the craziest part is that as soon as I reinvested in myself, as soon as I reinvested in becoming a better athlete, not attached to my weight class, my total started to continue to go up. So I hit 380 in July of 2018. I hit 385 at Raw Nationals in 2018. And I think I placed like 32. So not bad, not great. I mean, I didn't come in last, go me. And I hit PRs. So that was a win. It was my first nationals in Spokane, Washington. I had so much fun on the platform. It was just a really great day for me to be able to go out and show what I had accomplished so far since starting my journey into powerlifting in 2014. I competed 4 times last year in 2019, the most I've ever competed in a year. I competed first in April. So I competed April 7th, 2019 in Needham, Massachusetts at a local meet. I again hit a total PR, a smaller total PR, 2.5 kilos, but it was exactly what I needed to requalify for Raw Nationals as an 84. So they did raise the totals in 2019. The qualifying total from 2018 was 380, so they raised it 7.5 kilos. And so I got to requalify for Raw Nationals in April of 2019. Then I did 2 meets in July of 2019. Probably the silliest thing I've ever done, but it was also so fun. So at first I competed at a local meet in Buffalo, New York, which is where I'm originally from. There I hit a pretty substantial total PR. I hit 407.5, so about 20 kilos added to my total. Definitely showed the strength that I wanted to show in April with some additional focal points specifically on my deadlift. So this past year has really been focused on my deadlift, and definitely went all in at that meet. Then I competed the very next week at Northeast Regionals. I didn't hit a total PR at that meet, so I hit 402.5, but those 2 were the first 2 times that I've ever hit 400 kilos on the platform, and I hit them in back-to-back weeks. So I knew I was on the right track. I did also hit a deadlift PR at Northeast Regionals, so I hit 170 kilos, which is 374 pounds. That was a huge milestone for me because I had hit 375 about a year prior in the gym for a pretty horrible rep. It was a test, and I definitely did not, it was not a legal lift. It would not have been passed in competition, but I knew that I had that strength within me. And because there were so many other factors going into my powerlifting, I wasn't able to hit that on the platform until that day. And so from there, we trained for 2019 Raw Nationals, which were in Lombard, Illinois, outside of Chicago. And I was able to put 5 more kilos on my total for the end of the year, rounding out at 412.5. My first 900-pound total. If you heard me talk in that first video that I made about I really wanted to hit 345, which was the 72-kilo qualifier for Raw Nationals in 2018. I wanted to hit 345, which was about 760 pounds. And I was like, I can't wait to hit 800 pounds on the platform. And the fact that in a little over a year, I was able to hit 900 pounds on the platform. I had an 8 for 9 day at Raw Nationals, so I did miss my 3rd bench press, which would have brought me just a little bit over 915 pounds. So all in all, I had an amazing day at 2019 Raw Nationals. That's my last meet. I haven't competed since then. I will actually be competing again in 3 weeks, which is crazy. And I will be competing at the Massachusetts Winter Classic in Situate, Massachusetts on February 22nd. I'll be competing with 3 of my precision powerlifting teammates. I'm so excited to get back on the platform. I feel like I have made some real progress since 2019 Raw Nationals. I'm hoping to put up a decent PR. Don't want to get my hopes up because I know that whatever happens on the day of the meet is what happens, but I am looking forward to going out and showing some new and improved strength within both, I would say, the squat and the deadlift. Both of those lifts have really improved over the last year, and I'm just really excited to get out and showcase my strength in those. So I think just, overall, the past couple of years have been really essential in my journey as a powerlifter, because I honestly don't know if I would be as well. I know I would not be as good of a powerlifter right now if I had not decided to stop cutting weight. I have not cut weight since my meet in April of 2018, which is almost 2 years off of dieting completely. Yes, I've been tracking macros. Yes, my weight fluctuates. That's not to say that, my weight doesn't increase over the holidays or decrease when I'm back up in training, especially over the summer. We just sweat more because it's hot at the gym, or we train in a warehouse gym, so there's not really air conditioning. We have fans, but when you sweat more, you just tend to burn more calories, your heart rate increases. And so that's not to say that my weight doesn't fluctuate. It definitely does, but I'm in a position now where I can pretty much eat whatever I want within reason, knowing that, if I eat 6,000 calories every day, my weight will probably increase. And if I don't eat, then my strength will probably decrease. But I've gotten to a position now where I'm so comfortable with who I am as a powerlifter. I'm so set in my identity that I really could not see myself ever doing another weight cut. Now, that's not to say I never will. This is just to say that, I can't fathom losing almost 30 pounds right now to get back down to the 72s. It's not really in my wheelhouse. I think it would decrease my strength quite a bit, and I think I'd lose what I've been working for. I'm so fortunate to be surrounded by like-minded people, but especially like-minded women. I think honestly the biggest thing that's changed for me over the last 2 years, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I went all in on precision powerlifting systems. Honestly, I could probably get emotional about it because truly PPS is one of those things that if you're looking from the outside, you have no idea what we stand for, what we believe in. And if you're looking from the inside, you are literally in a cult. And that could be perceived as a bad thing. Maybe it is, but when you're someone that's really all in and really invested, you gain more. There is just more to be gained by being part of a team, even with an individual sport. I am the luckiest person to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who make training fun, who challenge me, who persist that I persist. They really, truly make sure that I am committing to my training 100%, and I expect the same out of everyone else. I was fortunate to be named a captain of PPS about 1.5 years ago, and since then we have really just committed to the culture of who we are. We have changed a lot over the last 2 years. We've moved from Chico to dynamic effort to conjugate to somewhere in the middle. And Kevin has learned a lot as a coach. I have learned a lot as an athlete. It's hard to believe, I just did the math the other day, it's hard to believe that I've been with Kevin now for 30 months. I just finished week 122. So when I was chatting with you last, I think it was week 12, maybe week 13. So it's definitely been a change. Though that 5x5 at 225, that was in my first week of meet prep in January of 2018. I remember being scared as fuck for that week. I remember going into that set and leaving the gym and crying in the car because it was hard. And I am starting to move weights that I never thought that I would move. Next week, I have a 380 deficit pull in my program. If you asked me 2 years ago, if you ever thought that I could pull 380 pounds, much less off a deficit, I think I would have laughed. And now the beautiful thing about being an athlete with PPS is that I look at my program and I say, cool, time to lift. And that's just it. we are so committed to our culture, and we are so committed to believing that what we're doing is going to make us successful, that I have no doubts. I have no fears. And I think taking time dieting off that really helped, and recommitting to myself as an athlete, because I left 2019 as a top 8% athlete in the 84s. And that is not something that I envisioned for myself 2 years ago. When I was in the 72s, I was probably top 20%, maybe top 25, which is still an incredible feat to be top 25% of women in your weight class in the country out of over 1,000 women, you know, being in that top 250. It really showcases your dedication to the sport, showcases how you've tried to improve yourself day after day. But, you know, being ranked number 71 is crazy. I just can't fathom it. Like, I am consistently shell-shocked at how I continue to get stronger. And I know that that seems silly, because if you're going after what you want and you're continuing to train, you are going to get stronger. But it's amazing the amount of people that decide not to keep going. And I think that that is what I've learned, is that despite it all, I will continue to keep going. And that is what has made me a better athlete. I'm going to stop rambling now. Thank you guys for tuning back into my channel. I am going to try to be a bit more dedicated to this. It's probably not going to be every week or every couple of days, but maybe every few weeks I'll post something on here. Definitely want to post a meet recap when I compete in February, so I can tell you about meet day and how I did. I don't think I'll do much vlogging, although I did do a little bit of a vlogging intro. I've watched even more YouTube in the last 2 years than I talked about in my first video. Not a lot of fitness YouTube anymore. Fitness YouTube really kind of fell off. And I really became disinterested in diet culture. So, and there's still a lack of strength sport on YouTube. So cheers to 2020. Cheers to me continuing to spread positive messaging through strength. And let's get stronger together. Thanks, guys.